Victory on the ground is forged in the sky. The message of Lieutenant General Mykola Oleshchuk, former commander of the Ukrainian Air Force, is more than clear. And now the UK is making sure that it's more than just words. With thousands of deadly Martlet missiles on the way, Ukraine's skies are turning into a no-fly zone, and fast. And Russia, well, let's just say uninvited guests won't be staying long. This video breaks it all down. Now, you would think that the supposed second strongest military in the world would have no issue establishing air superiority over Ukraine. Yet it's been over 3 years and Russia is still struggling to take control of the skies. Despite having the numbers, despite having the tech, the Russian aerospace forces have simply failed to dominate Ukrainian airspace. Instead of ruling the sky, they've been forced to use Su-34s as glorified flying artillery, not exactly the high-tech air campaign they envisioned. Still, Russia is far from powerless. It may not own the skies over Ukraine, but that hasn't stopped it from raining terror from above. In over 3 years of the invasion, Ukraine's air force have destroyed over 8,000 Russian air targets, hundreds of aircraft, helicopters, thousands of cruise missiles and drones gone. Ukrainian pilots have flown over 20,000 combat missions, pushing their aircraft and their skills to the limit. And yet the skies remain a battleground. How so? Well, Russia has fully embraced drone and missile warfare. Night after night, wave after wave of Iranian-made Shahid drones and cruise missiles slam into Ukraine's cities, energy infrastructure, and rarely actual military targets. Russia seems to struggle to find and track moving targets, so the country's forces go for the easy ones: apartment buildings, schools, power plants. If it can't fight back, it's fair game in Moscow's eyes. Ukraine does have Patriot and NASAMS systems to defend against these attacks, but they're limited. Those systems prioritize ballistic missile threats, the kind that can flatten a city block in seconds. But what about the endless drone swarms? That's where the Martlet missiles come in. And the timing couldn't be better. One of the latest Russian attacks on February 22nd involved a staggering 267 drones launched in a single night. Ukraine's air defenders are doing everything they can, but the numbers are simply brutal. These numbers make one thing abundantly clear: strengthening air defense isn't just a priority, it's a race against destruction. And the UK knows this all too well. That's why this latest deal isn't just sending weapons to Ukraine, it's giving it a fighting chance, and not to simply protect its skies, but to overtake them. So what is this weapons deal that promises to shift the balance in the skies? It's simple really. 5,000 Martlet missiles are coming to obliterate Russia's aerial threats, turning the tables and giving Ukraine the power to reclaim the skies. No more terror from above, just relentless defense. On March 3, 2025, UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer unveiled the full scale of this incredible deal. 5,000 Martlet missiles, also known as lightweight multi-role missiles, LMMs, would be sent to Ukraine, offering a significant boost to its air defense capabilities. This deal, worth up to $2 billion, is a major step in ensuring Ukraine has the tools to fend off Russia's devastating drone and missile barrages. With the potential for an additional $646 million of work, the deal is a monumental commitment to Ukraine's defense, promising not only to protect its skies, but also to build a lasting defense infrastructure that stands independent of foreign reliance. The deal was announced at a crucial summit in London, attended by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. At the summit, Starmer also reaffirmed the UK's broader commitment to the war in Ukraine. As part of the wider defense strategy, the UK has committed to raising its own defense spending to 2.5% of national income by 2027, with further increases to 3% by 2034. This missile deal plays a significant role in fulfilling that commitment, ensuring that the UK remains a key player in global security. The Martlet missiles for Ukraine will be produced by Thales, the French-owned defense manufacturer, at its factory in Belfast, Northern Ireland. As a result, this facility is now set to triple its output. This is the largest contract ever received by Thales in Belfast, a deal that will not only supply Ukraine with high-precision interceptor missiles, but also help to create 200 new jobs in Northern Ireland, and support a further 200 jobs across the UK and support the existing 700 roles. But it's not just about numbers, it's about taking the fight directly to Russia's aerial threats, which have wreaked havoc on Ukrainian infrastructure over the past year. So does this mean that Ukraine will receive all 5,000 missiles at once, declare a no-fly zone and just start blasting Russian drones out of the sky overnight? Well, not quite. This UK-Ukraine deal isn't some one-time weapons drop, it's a long-term, strategic shift. The UK is using it to help Ukraine build its own defense industry. So the Martlet missiles will come in waves as part of a larger air defense project running through 2030. No instant gratification here, but when the full force of the deal kicks in, Russia's airborne terror won't stand a chance. A big part of this plan? Localization. Ukraine won't just be receiving missiles, it'll be making them too. Thales is bringing the tech, and Ukraine is bringing the manufacturing power. The exact details are still under wraps, but one thing is clear: This is about self-sufficiency. Kyiv is done waiting on Western shipments to trickle in. Instead, it's setting up a system that keeps the supply flowing on home soil. And Ukraine's already proven that it can handle large-scale production. Just look at the Bodana self-propelled artillery system, which is rolling off the lines at a blistering 15 units per month. If the country can mass-produce heavy artillery, churning out Martlet missiles should be well within reach. Still, the sheer number of the incoming missiles changes everything. Ukraine's airspace will be practically blanketed with the Martlet missiles, effectively turning it into a no-fly zone for Russia. After all, these new shipments will finally allow Ukraine to use these weapons at scale. No more rationing missiles, no more waiting for the perfect target. Kyiv will have the freedom to fire at will, countering Russia's relentless drone and missile strikes with overwhelming force. Now, you might ask, are we sure this is going to work? After all, 5,000 missiles is a massive commitment. What if they don't perform as expected? What if this investment ends up being a costly miscalculation? Well, there's no need for guesswork. Martlet missiles have already proven their worth in Ukraine. That's right, we aren't talking about some untested weapon being thrown into the fight with blind hope. We're talking about a system that Ukraine has successfully used for years now. The first confirmed kill came all the way back in April 2022 when Ukraine's 95th Air Assault Brigade obliterated a Russian Orlan-10 reconnaissance drone, though the weapon was first incorrectly identified as another British missile, Starstreak. Social media lit up with footage of the moment, a Ukrainian soldier locking on, firing, then an explosion in the sky, followed by cheers from the unit. At the time, this strike was a message Ukraine was ready to fight back. Just a few months later, in June 2022, Martlet brought down a Russian Ka-52 Alligator attack helicopter, one of the most advanced helicopters in Russia's fleet. The Ka-52 is nothing short of a heavily armed flying tank, and yet a single well-placed Martlet took it out of the fight. That moment cemented the missile's reputation as a serious threat to Russian air power. Then came the drones, waves and waves of them. Throughout 2023, Russia ramped up its use of Shahed-136 kamikaze drones, using them to terrorize Ukrainian cities, overwhelm air defenses, and strike critical infrastructure. But Ukraine had an answer. By the end of 2023, Martlet had already taken out 213 Russian drones, as confirmed by a Ukrainian commander from the Kyiv area. And it wasn't just the Iranian-made menaces. Shaheds, Lancets, Orlans, Martlet was swatting them all out of the sky, one after the other. Although Shaheds did remain a major headache for Ukraine. In a single night in November 2023, Russia launched a record-breaking 75 Shahed drones, hoping to exhaust Ukraine's defenses. Instead, Kyiv's forces, armed with Martlets and other air defense systems, intercepted the majority of them, preventing mass destruction. In 2024, the Martlet missiles claimed another victim, the Su-30SM fighter jet. This jet was used to counter the Ukrainian F-16AM fighters and destroy US-made landing boats, yet it met its end at the hands of a Martlet missile mid-attack. By now, it was clear that the Martlet missile was a crucial part of Ukraine's survival strategy. So as 2025 rolled in, the UK doubled down. On January 10, 2025, the British government poured about $210 million into ramping up Martlet production, pledging an additional 650 missiles to Ukraine by the end of the year. As it later turned out, this would be the first wave of the 5,000 missile commitment, ensuring a steady flow of fresh firepower into Ukraine's arsenal. With a track record like this, the Martlet isn't just another missile, it's a proven predator in Ukraine's skies. Time and again, it has shredded Russian drones, helicopters, fighter jets, and whatever else dares to trespass. So what makes this missile such a game changer? Let's break down the tech behind Ukraine's battle-tested airborne nightmare. The Martlet was originally designed to meet the UK's future air-to-surface guided weapon light program, a requirement aimed at equipping Royal Navy Wildcat helicopters. However, what started as a sea-based weapon quickly became a versatile, multi-domain killer. And in Ukraine, where drones constantly lurk in the skies, the Martlet has found a new purpose, clearing the air of enemy threats with ruthless efficiency. At just 28.66 pounds and 4.27 feet in length, the Martlet is a featherweight in the missile world. However, don't let its small size fool you. With a dual-mode seeker, this compact missile can engage moving targets with pinpoint accuracy and destroy them. The best part, it can't be stopped by jammers. Unlike traditional heat-seeking missiles, the Martlet relies on laser beam riding technology, meaning it's nearly immune to electronic warfare countermeasures. Russian helicopters can pop all the flares they want, it won't matter. Once the missile is locked on, it stays locked. However, flexibility is the Martlet's greatest strength. It can be launched from helicopters, ground-based systems, and naval platforms. For example, the British Army has integrated it onto Stormer HVM vehicles, while the Royal Navy has tested it on frigate-mounted launchers. In Ukraine, it's been deployed on man-portable launchers, integrated into Soviet-era Mi-8 and Mi-24 helicopters, and even considered for UAV-based attacks. That means that no matter where the battlefield shifts, Martlets can be there, imposing its own version of a no-fly zone. Speed and precision also define this missile. While it moves at half the speed of the Starstreak missile, this actually works in its favor. Flying at Mach 1.5, almost 1,118 miles per hour, it conserves fuel better, giving it a longer effective range, 5.59 miles, compared to Starstreak's 3 to 4 miles. The lower speed also makes it easier to guide precisely onto a moving target. The operator keeps the target locked until impact, guiding the missile via a joystick without having to move the launcher. The result? A hit rate that speaks for itself. The cost factor also makes the Martlet a standout choice for Ukraine. Each missile is estimated to cost around $30,000, significantly cheaper than the $60,000 to $80,000 price tag of a Soviet Igla-1, and a fraction of the $850,000 cost of a German Stinger FIM-92K Block 1. In a war where cost-effective air defense is crucial, having an affordable yet lethal option is a game-changer. The sheer volume of drones and cruise missiles Russia sends toward Ukrainian positions means Kyiv needs an interceptor that won't break the bank. And that's precisely what the Martlet missiles are: cheap, reliable, and deadly. With all this in mind, the battlefield impact of the Martlet is hard to overstate. In a war where drones play an outsized role, having a missile specifically designed to counter them is a massive advantage. As mentioned, Russian forces have increasingly relied on Shahed 136 loitering munitions and Lancet drones to strike Ukrainian infrastructure and frontline positions. But the Martlet, with its rapid reaction time and high accuracy, is perfectly suited to intercept these threats before they reach their targets. It provides a crucial middle layer of defense, more powerful than machine guns and electronic jamming, but cheaper and more sustainable than using multi-million-dollar systems like NASAMS or Patriot missiles. And with mass production in full swing, Russia's air force is about to have a very bad time in Ukraine. Predictably, the Kremlin isn't too fond of this possibility. Although there hasn't been an official statement, there's been lots of chatter about how dangerous this missile is for the Russian Air Force. One Russian military blogger directly acknowledged that these missiles could disrupt Russian aviation operations to some extent. And you know Russian military bloggers, if they say to some extent, they probably mean we're in trouble. So it's only a matter of time before the Kremlin labels the increased use of Martlets as an escalation. After all, Moscow has already struggled to overwhelm Ukraine's air defenses, so this latest boost isn't exactly helping. The introduction of thousands more Martlets means Russian pilots and drone operators will have to think twice before entering contested airspace. The cost of aggression just went up, and Russian President Vladimir Putin's forces will soon feel the sting. However, there's another powerful system that will ensure that Ukraine's skies remain a no-go zone for the enemy: the Rapid Ranger air defense system. As part of the deal that includes 5,000 Martlet missiles, Ukraine will also receive the Rapid Ranger system, set to revolutionize how the country counters air threats. This mobile, flexible platform is designed to work seamlessly with the Martlet missiles, adding an advanced layer of protection to Ukraine's increasingly robust air defense network. One of the standout features of the Rapid Ranger system is its mobility. Weighing under 1,100 pounds, this system is incredibly lightweight, which means it can be easily transported and repositioned on the battlefield. This is crucial because it gives Ukrainian forces the ability to deploy and redeploy their air defense in real time, making it far more difficult for Russian forces to predict or target their positions. Fixed air defense systems are highly vulnerable to missile strikes, but with the Rapid Ranger's high mobility, Ukrainian forces can quickly relocate, keeping their defenses flexible and dynamic. The Rapid Ranger's versatility also shines through in its integration with multiple types of military platforms. It can be mounted onto both wheeled and tracked vehicles, which enhances its operational flexibility. Whether deployed on land or other mobile platforms, the system can swiftly adapt to the evolving battlefield, giving Ukrainian forces a much-needed edge in their defense efforts. But that's not all. The Rapid Ranger system is equipped with a 4-missile launcher, capable of engaging multiple targets simultaneously. This feature is incredibly important when dealing with the types of fast-moving aerial threats Russia has been using. Rapidly targeting and neutralizing several threats at once is crucial in a high-intensity conflict where swarms of enemy drones and missiles can overwhelm traditional, slower-response air defense systems. With Rapid Ranger, no Russian missile or drone will get past the defense perimeter without being countered. Another key feature of the Rapid Ranger is its advanced onboard targeting and tracking systems. With a thermal imaging camera and 360-degree surveillance sensors, the system can operate 24/7, regardless of weather conditions or time of day. These sensors provide enhanced situational awareness, enabling the system to track and target incoming threats with exceptional precision. The ability to operate in low-visibility conditions gives Ukraine's air defense a significant advantage over Russia's attempts to strike under the cover of darkness or bad weather. The detection range of the Rapid Ranger system exceeds 9 miles, which means that it can detect and engage threats at an early stage. This early warning capability is critical for preventing attacks from reaching their targets and ensures that Ukraine's air defense forces can act before a missile or drone even gets close. In a conflict like the one in Ukraine, where every second counts, the ability to detect, track, and engage threats early is a significant advantage. But what truly sets the Rapid Ranger apart is its ability to be integrated into Ukraine's broader air defense network. The system's communication capabilities allow it to work in coordination with Ukraine's radar and command systems, ensuring that all units within the defense grid can respond to threats in real time. This networked mode is crucial in dealing with the coordinated waves of attack Russia has been using, particularly when facing swarms of drones. The ability for multiple Rapid Ranger systems to be linked together allows for quick, coordinated missile launches, meaning that Ukrainian forces can respond to threats with greater speed and efficiency than ever before. In practical terms, the Rapid Ranger's integration into a larger defense network creates an effective no-fly zone that is not only hard to penetrate but also incredibly flexible. Russian forces can no longer rely on simple missile strikes or drone swarms to overwhelm Ukraine's air defenses. Ukrainian forces will now be able to create an impenetrable, constantly shifting shield across key areas of the country, protecting everything from critical infrastructure to military assets. The effectiveness of the Rapid Ranger and Martlet combo begs the question, why just now? Why has the UK waited for over 3 years to pack Ukraine with these powerful weapons? Well, the answer is simple, though troubling. For years, the UK and much of Europe have relied heavily on the US for military support, particularly when it comes to advanced weapons systems and production capacity. This reliance was a natural byproduct of NATO's established structure and the overwhelming military capabilities of the US, which allowed European nations, including the UK, to lean on American defense technology, manufacturing, and funding. However, in 2025, this reliance has shifted, with US President Donald Trump taking a step back from international commitments, particularly in the context of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. So Europe must now step up, plain and simple, and the UK is among the nations leading the charge. With this missile deal, the UK is trying to send a message that Europe can truly do it on its own, protect Ukraine and protect itself. With Washington dragging its feet on military aid at times, this deal is a clear signal that the UK is prepared to step into a leadership role, ensuring that Putin and other international aggressors don't dictate the terms of war. But there's more to this delay than just political turbulence. You see, producing these advanced weapon systems at scale is no easy feat, and it certainly doesn't happen overnight. And this goes for the 5,000 promised missiles too. As mentioned, the UK has pledged to triple the output of these multi-purpose guided missiles to meet the necessary quota. However, there are significant hurdles to achieving this goal. First, the Thales plant in Belfast requires a large workforce to scale production, but there's a catch. Hiring additional personnel has proven quite difficult. The UK Defence Journal reports that the British defence industry struggles to attract qualified young workers, largely due to bureaucratic barriers and financial obstacles. For example, training just one apprentice in the defense industry costs at least $45,300. However, the current tax system only allows the company to recoup roughly $35,000 of that expense, making it a financial burden for businesses to invest in workforce development. Julian David, the CEO of Tech UK, explained that the UK defense industry would need at least 2 to 3 years just to increase its workforce by 10%, not exactly an ideal timeframe for ramping up production in the short term. The other critical issue is secrecy. The UK defense sector is overwhelmed with the task of getting security clearances to handle classified information. Where British private contractors used to process a few hundred security clearances per year, they're now handling thousands, up to 7,000 according to Tech UK. This intense focus on secrecy, while important, also creates bottlenecks in production and further delays the processing of getting weapons into the field. These major obstacles are a testament to the scale of commitment that the UK is putting into its missile deal. However, they're also a reminder of just how long it will take to turn these promises into reality. With this in mind, do you think the UK will truly deliver on its promises and secure 5,000 Martlet missiles for Ukraine? And if so, will these missiles be enough to create an effective no-fly zone for the Russian aerial fleet? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Now go and check out Russia Panicked. Europe's super missile just took down its first jet, or click this other video instead.